Affordable DIY Christmas gifts made with love. Let's get into it. Hi everyone, welcome back. We're doing some more Christmas DIYs today and we're focusing on DIY gifts. So let's jump in, I'll share these DIYs with you. This one is a very easy project that I think would be really fun to make if you get all of your friends together one evening and you have a craft night. This is a DIY keychain that you can customize to be a perfect gift. For this project, you'll need a selection of different beads. Mine are from the charity shop. You'll want some key rings and some cord. I got those bits from my favorite store that I can't pronounce. Grin, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, now comes the fun part, and I'm taking all of my beads and going through them to pick the perfect layout for this keyring. As you can see, I find a lot of beads in the charity shop. Some of them are on necklaces that I have to cut up and disassemble to get my beads looking the way they do in these boxes. As a crafty girl, I love having storage boxes full of lots of extras for projects just like this. To assemble your piece, you'll want to take your nice thick jewelry cord and cut a piece off. I'm making 3 strands that are all going to connect together at the top. So I'm going to start with the first one, which I'm using these long beads for. To make sure my beads aren't going to all fall off, I'm closing the end of my cord with these knot covers, which should keep them nice and tightly secured. If you don't have these in your jewelry making pile, don't worry, you could do a double knot and then maybe add a little bit of super glue to the end of the knot so it doesn't unravel. I'm adding my beads to make this first one to the desired length. This is what it looks like. Again, I'm finishing the ends with a knot cover, and then I'm starting on the second piece, which is a pink one, and I just picked a bunch of different pink beads for this one. Again, in with the knot cover. I don't want these beads spilling anywhere. For this last piece for the keychain, I'm adding a jump ring right into the middle of my thread because all of my beads have 2 holes for this one. So this is a slightly different application. And for this one, I'm tying a double knot at the bottom because the knot covers won't fit. To attach all of these pieces together, I'm using jump rings, which I'm adding to the knot covers and then onto the key rings to make sure they're very secure. I didn't have any jewelry pliers, so I could only find tweezers. I don't know where my jewelry pliers have gone, which is the worst timing, but the tweezers worked perfectly fine anyway. This is how the keyring turned out. I'm pretty pleased with this. I think this would look even better if you had some beads with letters on them so you could spell out your friends' names for the gifts that you're giving. But this looks so good. I'm gonna make quite a few of these this Christmas. Hi guys, just a quick pause to tell you a little bit more about today's video sponsor, Linea. Linea is a jewelry company that has my heart. I've been very lucky to work with them before, and I'm working with them again to share with you some of the other jewelry pieces that they have on their site. Ever since I worked with them before, I have been consistent in wearing these huggy hoops in my ears almost every single day, and now they have some friends to accompany them. These are the hoops in question. I wear these almost every single day. Hate to admit, but I forget to take them out in the shower sometimes. I wear them to bed sometimes. They're so comfortable, and they are still in absolutely perfect condition. I am well and truly obsessed with these. Beforehand, I would never wear the same jewelry day in and day out because I'd be so worried that they would tarnish, and some of the pieces that I had before just wouldn't hold up. But I have not had that problem with Linea, so let me tell you a little bit more about them. One of my favorite things about Linea are their sustainability practices. All of their jewelry is made using 100% recycled gold or silver. They use lab-grown diamonds to guarantee that they are conflict-free, and they use recycled and sustainable packaging. And most importantly of all, they build their products to last, so they only use fine metals like solid gold and sterling silver. This means that your pieces are going to last for a really long time, which has changed the way that I personally view jewelry. I no longer want to buy anything cheap that's not going to last because I don't want it to end up in landfill when it tarnishes or breaks. I want my jewelry to last a long time, which is why I trust Linea.
Thank you so much to Linya for sponsoring today's video. And thank you to you guys for watching it. If you want to check out Linya for yourself, I'm going to leave them linked down below. I think they would make a great Christmas gift for somebody that you love or for yourself this year. Now let's get back into the video. This next one is a little bit gimmicky because it's been doing the rounds on Pinterest. So I wanted to see if it worked and if it would make a good gift. So let me show you how I made this chessboard jewelry hanger.
For this project, you're going to want to find an old chessboard with all of the pieces. You can thrift this, find it on Vinted, that's where I found mine. Now before we get started with the project, it's best to apply your fixings to the back of the piece first, which I did last. That's why I make these videos, because I make the mistakes so that you don't have to. I'm using a very strong adhesive to glue these to the back of the board, but you can screw them in if you haven't already put all the pieces on the front like I did. Oops. Now comes the fun part, figuring out where all the chess pieces go.
So all the pawns go in the front.
Those little ones.
And this is a rook.
Is that a king or a queen?
I got Hayley to help me with the placement of this because I haven't played chess in a really long time. I can't remember where any of these pieces go, but this was making me think that I'd like to start playing, so I think we're gonna have to learn how, although not with this board because it's a little bit too late. This one's already been glued down. With all the pieces set up, I then took them off the board so I can glue them all in place. Make sure that you keep them all in the right order so that you're not mixing them around too much. Again, I'm using a really strong adhesive to put these all in place. This one's called B7000, which I think is meant to be a dupe of like E6000, which is a glue that we don't get here in the UK, at least not that I know of. A regular super glue would suffice, or if you want to use wood glue, you could sand the bottom of the pieces first and use a wood glue to adhere them to the board. Carry this on for the whole board and you should have something that looks a little bit like this. I think this makes for a great gift. It's a really cool little fun quirky present. If you're going to wrap it, make sure to use a lot of bubble wrap so that none of the pieces pop off. But what a cute way to store your jewelry, and if you have eagle eyes you might spot a few of my Linya pieces on this jewelry board too.
Here is another easy project for your friends that love books. This is Blind Date with a book, but it's got a big twist, so let me show you how I did it.
This gift is more than just a thoughtfully chosen book, it's all about the way you wrap it. So let me show you how, because it's a fun way to deliver any kind of gift, but especially a book. Place your book in the middle of your piece of wrapping and fold over the top edge of the wrapping paper. Use your fingers to score the edge and make sure it's really nice and flat. Then we're going to bring the sides down, and where it creates a triangle on the tabletop or wherever you're wrapping this, we're going to score that with our fingers, and at the top edge of the book we're going to score that one too. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm not very good at explaining, but that's what the video is for. Follow along and you should be fine. It's quite an easy project. Once you've repeated this process on both sides, you should have 4 folds that you can now fold over the top of the book. I did have to do this a few times, and honestly I ended up finishing this off camera because I was doing too many things to try and make it work, so I had to tidy it up without the camera involved. But as you can see, it might take a couple of times. You just want to make sure those edges are super sharp. Score them as well as you can and just keep moving your paper around until you get this looking how you want it. Tape your gift up by closing off the bottom and taping it like you would do with any other present, and you should have some gift wrap that looks a bit like this, but it magically looks a lot better now after I tidied it off camera. Now we're going to add all of the fun stuff. So these are little things that you can just slip into the folds of the present wrapping. I'm using stuff that I thought a book lover might like some page flags, some little notebooks, cards, stickers. I feel like most people who love to read also love stationery, so it's always a very safe bet to add things like pens and little notebook. To keep the pens in place, I'm adding a piece of velvet ribbon around the book, securing it at the back and folding this back over with another ribbon on top, just for a little bit of extra pizzazz. And now I can slide the pens in the front underneath the ribbon. One thing I forgot to add was a bookmark, so I very quickly decided to use this scrap of glittery paper to make one. I have a lot of scraps at the moment because I'm making paper decorations, so this is a little bit short because it's a scrap. If you're making a bookmark, maybe make it a bit longer. I just wanted to do this to show you how. And I'm sliding that into the present along with all of the other bits, and this is how it turned out. I think this works really well because it's a very thoughtful gift with a lot of little things. You can make this as fancy or as budget friendly as you would like, and I think anyone receiving this would be really, really happy.
Moving on, we have probably the easiest DIY. It is so painfully easy, I don't think you can call it a DIY, but it does make for a very cute and thoughtful gift. Again, Pinterest inspired, so let's see how this turns out.
So these truly are some of the easiest gift ideas that you could make, and this one really takes the cake. It's so simple. So I picked up this racket in the charity shops. There seem to be a lot of them around. I love this vintage style. You could paint this if you'd like. I thought about it to add a little extra something to the video, but honestly I really like this vintage effect, so I'm keeping it looking a little crusty. Now we need to select a bunch of photos, trinkets, and little memories that we've been keeping. Make these as relevant to the person you're giving this gift to as you possibly can. I'm printing off loads of pictures of me and Hayley with my ancient Instax printer. This thing is so old, I'm surprised it was still working. Then all you have to do is arrange everything on your racket and pin them down. I'm using those teeny tiny craft clothes pegs. You know the ones that you have lying around and you're like, what am I going to use these for? This is the project. They work perfectly well to pin things onto the racket. I did a lot of maneuvering of all the little pieces to try and find the right layout, but we got there in the end, and I think the best thing is to try and mix and match the different types of things that you're putting on here. Think old tickets, pins, badges, buttons. I've got some embroidery patches, stickers on there. Anything you can find that would make for a really sweet memory. And here is how it turned out.
And last but not least, I wanted to make some DIY coasters because I think they're always a good gift. Again, they have a function, but they can be really pretty. So because I had a lot of mosaics left over from when I made my mosaic frames, thought I'd put some of these to good use and see if we could make a coaster with them.
For this project, you'll need some small mosaic tiles, a piece of wood cut to size, and I'm using mosaic glue, which if you saw my mosaic video, I have some feelings about this, but I run out of tile and grout adhesive. If you want more mosaic tips, go ahead and watch that video. There's lots of little projects in there that would also make for great Christmas gift, but this one is a nice simple one that you can make pretty quickly in about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm just taking all of these little tiles and making sure they're glued down nice and securely to the coaster itself, and then I'm just going to let that dry overnight. You can come back and grout this if you would like, or if the tiles are close enough together, you probably could go without grouting if you want. This is what it looks like. Once it's dry, I decided to go in and paint the edges. Unfortunately, I mixed the paint a little bit bright. I thought it would look really nice as a bright pink. I don't know, I think like a light pink or a light blue would have looked better. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but just make sure you cover those edges so they're not sticking out like a sore thumb. And once that's dry, you'll have something that looks a little bit like this.
This is how the coaster turned out. I think it looks very cute. I will say I wish I had enough mosaics to make a set of 4, but I didn't have enough tiles left over for that. I think if you're going to give these as a gift, it would be nice to give like 2 or 4 and then wrap them up with a bow. In the meantime, if you're looking for more mosaic inspiration, I do have a mosaic craft video that I put up a couple of months ago. This is full of loads of ideas which I also think make for great gifts if you want to try them for yourself, and again, very easy to make. Sorry guys, I'm losing my voice. I'm gonna have to wrap this one up pretty quickly. A massive thank you to you for watching. If you're gonna make any of these, let me know. I would love to hear from you. With that being said, I'm gonna sign off and I'm gonna go and drink a lem sip because I think I need it. Take care and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Christmas Day.